My most memorable game that always sticks in my mind was the 1994 playoff semi-final home leg against Torquay. We'd been beaten in the first leg 2-0, which means we had to win by 3 clear goals to beat them. I think we scored first. David Moyes was playing for us then actually at centre-back. He's now the manager of Everton. Every single goal was an header as well, which I remember being. David Moyes scored, and then they scored again, which meant that we had to beat them 4-1 to get through. We managed to get it back to 3-3, went into extra time, and we managed to score another goal, and we won 4-3, went through to the playoff final. And it was also the last game on the AstroTurf, the plastic pitch, the last game that's ever going to be played. And it surprised me because as soon as the final whistle went, everyone ran on, as you can imagine, pulling the shirts off the players. And the amount of people that had Stanley knives on those days, but not in a threatening manner. No one had brought Stanley knives on to hurt anyone. They brought them on to cut up the pitch, and people were cutting up pieces of pitch and taking them off. And I remember running, I was only 13 at the time, and I sort of ran on, didn't quite know what to do, and ended up finding myself at the centre circle, and there was a guy there sat down, kneeling down, and he just asked me if I wanted a bit of the pitch, and I said yeah, and he cut me a couple of feet off the pitch, and I've still got that to this day, this actual pitch. Unfortunately, that was my first time as well where I went to the final at Wembley in 1994, and we got beat by Wycombe 4-2, and that was the first time I remember coming back and crying after a football match because we were winning 2-1 at half-time, all looking good, and then it just turned it round. Martin O'Neill was the manager of Wycombe Wanderers at that time, a young up-and-coming manager instead of this time, and well, you see what he's done now. He was the manager then. I actually, a few years back, bought a DVD of that game, the Torquay game here, and with my work with the museum I had the opportunity to meet David Moyes, and I got him to sign it for me because he actually scored in that game, so that's one of my prized possessions now, where I've got that game, where I can relive it, watch it on DVD, and I've got David Moyes to sign it to me as well, so something I always remember due to everything that's gone around with it. I suppose all football fans have a ritual of some sort. I mean, when I was younger it used to be the Deepdale Labour Club with my dad, and then on the game, but then we'd have to go straight home because Mum would expect us home because she'd want us back for tea or whatever. But obviously as I've got older I've been trying to get my friends involved, so our ritual usually stands at going in the St Greg's Labour Club, having a couple of drinks. We come in here obviously because I work in here, and we have a go on the goal striker game. Then we go and watch the actual game itself. Then we go to the local pub. It seems to be a lot of pub going, but it is, I suppose, it goes hand in hand with football. And we go to the pub, the Withy Trees, and we have a drink in there and sort of dissect the game, go over it, who we thought played well, who we thought played bad, who we should get rid of, who we thought played well in the other team, who impressed us. We really go over it. And one of the things that frustrates me about it is that after I walk down to go to the Withy Trees, and I'll get into the pub, and there'll be a lot of people sat there with the Man United shirts on, and the Liverpool shirts and the Chelsea shirts, and I know they're all Preston lads and they've all lived in Preston all their lives, and suddenly they just pick these teams. And I think to myself, you've never actually been to one of these games, you've never actually seen the atmosphere that you get on a football ground, which you can't replicate on TV. No matter how many times you try and change angles or give you fans view or different angles of players, you're never going to get the actual feeling that you get on a match. I mean, you might miss a few things that you won't pick up that you do on TV, but that's all part and parcel of the game. You can argue about an offside decision and then watch it on Sky and they tell you it wasn't an offside decision, but while you were there it was an offside decision. And without that TV, it's always going to be an offside decision, and we'll always stick to it. Just frustrates me that with Preston, quite a big city, they should, and when I go to see these people and they're all sat there in the Liverpool shirts, I just wish to be a few more of them and just come on at least for one game. You know, I find it hard. A lot of my friends, I've managed to convert about 3 of them, and there's a couple more that are stubborn, that are Liverpool fans that won't come on, but they've never been on a Liverpool game, and I still can't get them onto a game to come press and offend. And when I do manage to get them on the game, Sod's Law states that it'll be the worst game ever, which I always remember getting my friend, he's a big Liverpool fan, never been on a game, but he's a big Liverpool fan. I got him, begged him to come on to a game, actually bought him a ticket, dragged him on a Tuesday night game, it was raining, it's against QPR, it's a couple of years ago, 0-0. I don't think there was a shot on target all game, one of the worst games I've ever been on, and fair to say he's never been on again since, and I don't think I can convince him if I tried, but it's his loss as far as I'm concerned. I don't think you have a choice, but if you really are a football fan, and you've been and experienced it, and you've been an experienced club, it's very hard to flip from one club to another. I lived in Ipswich for 2 years, and I had plenty of opportunities to go on the games. I went on one. I went on more Preston games than I did than Ipswich games, because I'd come back to Preston. It cost me £90 odd on a train to get back for a weekend. It's a 6-hour train journey just to come back and watch an important game. I managed to book holidays because at that time we got the playoff final again against Bolton. in that year when I was in Ipswich, and I had to book a week's holiday so I could come back and spend all my wages to go to Cardiff at the time to watch us play Bolton. And when you're doing stupid things like that, that's when you realise that you can't help but be a Preston fan, and you're just going to have to be. I mean, I've seen them at the lowest points, lowest stage. I mean, I don't remember it as much, but I was there during the re-election. I was going on. I remember my dad being depressed because it looked like we were going to be relegated. So I've watched them in the 4th division, moving all the way up to the Championship. So I don't think I can imagine, even if they went to non-league, I'd still support them. Even if they were a Sunday League club, I think I'd still go and watch them. You know, it's just that far inbred in me now, I'm afraid. And I think if I have any children, I'd want to support them, to support Preston North End. And I know that I've got a niece and a nephew, and the dad's a Nottingham Forest fan, and I'm battling with the niece and nephew at the moment, where he's buying him Nottingham Forest gear and I'm buying him Preston North End gear, and it's only just hoping who can get him on a game first to remember it, and then once you've got him on that game and they actually remember it, then that will be in their memory hopefully, and then that will be their team to support. I'm always trying to recruit Preston North End fans, so yeah, I'd say I'm a die-hard Preston North End fan, I always will be.